Hey, it's Dave Rexroth. I want to give you an idea of what's going on as we lead into the weekend and keep very much this winter pattern going, not only through the weekend, but next week. And I think tomorrow, when we get to about 32 in Detroit, it's actually the average high this time of year. That'll be probably the last time we're there for the rest of the month. There's some serious winter weather coming in, and it becomes more and more about the cold and the wind chills than it does about the snow. But let's start with what's coming this way. It's 9:15 now, and got a big event going downtown, of course, the charity preview. That's going to be interesting with the snow and the cold. And then again, over the weekend, the cold really does become the problem. So overnight tonight, it's pretty clear out there right now. Overnight tonight, as the clouds come screaming through here, they'll help stop the drop, which is a very good thing. And as we look around town, they'll thicken up first from west to east as we go along. And then tomorrow, somewhere around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe that's when the snow starts. Maybe a little earlier than that, west of US 23. And I'll show you how that works in just a little bit. But that's going to be an issue perhaps for the morning drive, and then it does look like there's still snow and some issues on the roads in the evening drive as well. And then this weekend again, some more snow showers, but cold becomes the real deal here. So that's kind of a little preview of what we're talking about tonight. Temperatures out and about right now are not nice. I was just driving around. Our station is here in Southfield, across the street from Lawrence Tech, right next to the lodge, and I went out to get something to eat in my car. When I got back in, said it was 10. And it feels all of that. There's a real cold sense of maybe it's a little extra moisture or something, but it's cold outside. 9 in Pontiac, 18 in Howell, but the wind chill is 8. 12 in Metro, you can see there, but the wind chill is 2. So not a lot of wind, but every now and then it catches you the wrong way, and that's a problem. At least it has mellowed out quite a bit from what it was earlier in the day, and that's helpful. But with lighter winds and clear skies, temperatures keep dropping. So I think what will happen is we'll drop for a while till maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and we'll start to climb back a little bit as those clouds increase. You know how that works when they blanket us and they keep the radiation from escaping, so the temperatures can't keep dropping. So that's going to help. All right, next system is anchored up here by Winnipeg. It's going to move the center of it. I put on the map here. It's going to move toward Mackinac Straits. And so that'll keep us on the south side of it, and that's going to draw some moisture in out ahead of it. And you can see some of that across the UP down into Wisconsin, and then kind of a general mild circulation around the center itself, north of Minnesota there. So that's the one that's coming in. Let's talk about some timing here. And again, fairly clear skies now. They thicken up. This is 3 o'clock or so, and then stop it here at 7. You can see the snow showers moving in from the west. This might be a little slow, but my point to you is exactly when it starts, it doesn't matter, but it could be impactful on the morning drive. So if you've got someplace to be in the morning, you know what a headache it was this morning and last night, of course, with all that snow. So get up, take a look and see what's going on tomorrow. Mike Taylor will be on Channel 7 starting at 4:30. And show you what's coming in from the west here. The point is, this first little bit will kind of pass through in some snow showers. It could be impactful right away because it'll be so cold. A little snow will get on, especially the untreated roads. But then look what happens as we go through the morning to midday, and then this just kind of keeps rolling through in the afternoon. So stop it here at about 5 o'clock. Still some widespread snow around, especially east of US 23. And then if I take it up to about 8 p.m., that's when this thing is basically done. It's more or less kind of an 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. deal, and then moving out of here. Then after that, as the cold air starts to come across Lake Michigan, a little different angle, we might get some snow showers. This is Friday night, 2 a.m. into Saturday morning, and then a few more could be coming through again on Saturday. Saturday's kind of a hit and miss stuff. Some of the snow showers may make it across the state from Lake Michigan. Not a whole bunch. That snow is not a real big deal, but tomorrow it should be pretty widespread, especially again from late morning through the afternoon to the evening. Looks like if you look at Friday evening together, this whole thing as it passes through, it's generally 2 to 3 inches. There might be just a little less moisture down in Lenawee and Monroe County. I don't think a lot of spots hit 2 or 3 there, so I put 1 to 3. But generally a 2 to 3 inch snow. That will be some problems on the roads, especially the fact that it's a decent pace, I think, from noon through the afternoon into the evening rush again. So keep that in mind, plan accordingly, especially if you've got plans again to get downtown to the charity preview. Of course, there's a lot more action and traffic downtown with that event than most, so that's going to be a little concerning in terms of getting down there. And if you're going, make sure you get your glass of champagne before they're all gone. All right, let's talk about temperature. So this is tomorrow, Friday, and Friday evening. And then, again, the story becomes more about the cold than anything else. So let me load up something here for you, and I'm going to show you temperatures. These are midnight, Friday night. We're going to get, again, around freezing tomorrow for a high as this thing comes through, but I don't think we're back to that number for the rest of the month. And that just kind of tells you how the cold's going to go. So we go into Saturday morning. Let's stop it here about 6, 7 o'clock. And we're down into the 20s. Now watch, typically, right, the sun would come up, or whether you see it or not, but we start warming. So here's 7 o'clock at 26. We keep going down, 8:30 it's 22. We keep going down at 10, it's still 23. We get into the afternoon, and it's still in the low to mid 20s. So this is the start of the cold air coming in. You're going to notice it more on Sunday when it's really cold in the morning, and the afternoon is even colder than this. But the cold air starts coming back in behind this system that is tomorrow and tomorrow evening, and this just really reinforces some pretty serious cold air. So if you look at what's going on tonight, I put 17 on the low for Detroit. I know some of these numbers are really cold. The computer program says let's look at the coldest temperature of a 24-hour period, midnight to midnight. So there may be 9 at midnight in Ann Arbor, 6 in Port Huron at midnight, but I put 17 on for Detroit because this is what it's going to be about when you start getting up. So those clouds will warm us a little bit. Either way, it's cold with a little bit of a breeze there, but the clouds increase tonight again, 6, 7, 8 o'clock, moving in from the west, some snow, and it will be 2 to 3 inches in Metro Detroit north and 1 to 3 to the south. But look at the wind chills here. This is tomorrow around 8 o'clock. They're at least above 0. This morning they were below 0. It was 10 for a low this morning in Detroit, 5 below for a wind chill at its coldest point. And this is going to be quite a bit better here, just temporarily for our warmest day again for the rest of the month tomorrow. If you look at tomorrow's high temperatures, we're up around the freezing mark. In Detroit, it's upper 20s and lower 30s generally across the area. So that's about as good as it's going to get. Look at the top of the screen, and you'll see the average high is 32. So this is what it's supposed to be like in January. The last 2 weeks of January and the first week of February statistically is our coldest time of year. So right now, I'll do a double check here. Right now we're at 32 for an average high, and we're still at 19, I think, for the average low. Once we tick to 18 for the average low, yeah, we're still at 19. So once we get to 18 for the average low, which is coming in just a couple of days here, this is the coldest time of the year statistically. So let's see, where was I thinking here? All right, so tomorrow's high temperatures will be the warmest in the next several days. There you go, upper 20s and lower 30s. 1 to 3 inches covers everything, but I think a metro area to the north probably 2 to 3 as we go along. And again, I showed you that Saturday is the start of the cold air. Sunday is not real toasty, struggling to get just to 20 for highs. And then look what happens on Monday morning. These are wind chills, all right, 8 to 18 below on Monday morning. That's colder in most cases than it was this morning. And then look as we go through Monday. Here's 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Notice they don't change. And some of them actually get colder. And then by Tuesday morning, we're around 20 to maybe even as cold as 25 below for wind chills. And the wild thing to think about is that about 15, 18 years ago, they readjusted the wind chill values because they knew more, and they did more research, and they did more studies. And all the wind chills, when they redid the wind chill values, if you will, for a certain temperature and a certain wind speed, they came up. So now when we're talking 20 to 25 degrees below 0, That kind of cold is really, really cold for us. And in that kind of temperature and that kind of wind chill on a Tuesday morning, you're going to have to worry about 15 to 20 minutes or so, exposed skin, fingertips, nose, ears, that kind of thing, getting frostbite. So this cold air settles in and stays for quite a while. So I just wanted to show you the extended forecast here real quick and look at some of these numbers. So tomorrow 32, again, that could be the warmest we get for the rest of the month. 29 Saturday, but it's 26, 29. There's hardly any lift before we start dropping again toward the end of the day, as I showed you. And then Sunday's a struggle to get to 20. 10 in Detroit Monday morning with single digits outside the city, 15 for a high. 3 Tuesday morning, 13 for a high. 7 Wednesday morning, and that Monday morning and Tuesday morning, we're talking generally 10 to 20 below, some cases maybe Tuesday morning 25 below for wind chill. So the wind chill, as you know, is important because we create our own warmth. The wind, we have a little layer of insulation because our body heats the layer of air closest to us, and that's like a layer of clothing because it keeps you warm. That's why your clothes keep you warm, because they trap that little insulated layer. And when the wind blows across you, takes that heat away, your temperature's got, or your body's got to work harder to get warm again, feels colder, and that's the wind chill. So things that create their own heat, like animals, like we are, and mammals, it makes a difference. Your car, it doesn't really make a difference. The only thing it does is cools it off a little faster. But inanimate objects don't have wind chill, but people and animals do. And so don't forget the pets when it's this cold. And if you've got friends or family that might need a little extra assistance, especially the elderly, keep that in mind. So some pretty serious and dangerous cold. I've seen a lot of places already, towns that we're getting emails from that are opening warming centers or starting to tell people, hey, we're going to get more and more warming centers open. So if you know somebody that might need assistance in the neighborhood or family or friends, it might be worth checking on them next week because there's some pretty serious cold coming. All right, so that is the cold that's on the way, starting Saturday, but really noticeable from Sunday through next week. And then here's another peek at the snow totals. Generally 2 to 3 inches tomorrow, starting in the morning, moving in from the west and leaving in the east, probably about 8 o'clock or so in the evening. So in that time frame, we're talking 2 to 3 inches, 1 to 3, a little bit less to the south. All right, that's the scoop. We'll be on at TV 20 Detroit at 10 o'clock in about a half an hour, 32 minutes.